What's up guys, Aaron here, back with another video. In today's video we're going to be doing the full review of the Apple iPhone 6. On September 19th, Apple released their next two flagship devices, which are the iPhone 6 and the iPhone 6 Plus. Now today we're going to be covering the iPhone 6, however make sure you're subscribed to be notified of the Apple iPhone 6 Plus full review once it is uploaded here on the channel. So without further delay, let's go ahead and start off the full review of the Apple iPhone 6. So starting things off is the design and the hardware. Now the Apple iPhone 6 has a 4.7-inch LED backlit IPS Retina HD display with a resolution of 1334 by 750 for an effective PPI of 326 and features dual domain pixels for wider viewing angles, and also features a fingerprint-resistant oleophobic coating over the front display. The iPhone 6 comes with Apple's new state-of-the-art A8 chip, which is a dual-core processor clocked at 1.4 GHz and features 1 GB of RAM. Also in the internals is Apple's M8 Motion coprocessor, along with a barometer, a 3-axis gyroscope, an accelerometer, and also comes with NFC and Touch ID. On the back of the device, you'll find an 8-megapixel rear eyesight camera with digital image stabilization, autofocus, a true tone flash, and a 5-element lens that's covered with a layer of sapphire crystal, and also comes with HDR options as well as a f2.2 aperture. The rear eyesight camera is capable of capturing 1080p HD video at 30 or 60 frames per second with time-lapse and slow motion at 120 frames or 240 frames per second. The Apple iPhone 6 is available in silver, gold, and space gray, and in storage options of 16, 64, and 128 gigabytes, and ships with Apple's mobile operating system, iOS 8. Next up, we ran some speed tests as well as benchmarks, and the iPhone 6 has a 1.4 GHz dual-core A8 processor with Apple's M8 Motion coprocessor and 1 GB of RAM. So we ran a speed test using speedtest.net, and right away we get a ping score of 41, a download speed of 41, and an upload speed of 8 megabytes per second. Next up, we ran a benchmark test via Geekbench 3, and something strange is it registers my iPhone 6 as an iPhone 7. Either way, our results show a single-core score of 1,631 and a multi-core score of 2,926. And next up is the battery life, and there's not much to say here other than that I can simply say that the improvement over the battery from the iPhone 5S is definitely showing here in the iPhone 6. Now more battery life is something that we can all never get enough of. Now with that being said, the iPhone 6 has a 1,810 milliamp hour battery, and I can easily say that it'll sustain one full day of use. Next up is gaming, and the gaming experience on a smartphone with a beautiful IPS LED display with an oleophobic coating lets your finger just glide across the display. Now, the iPhone 6 has a 1334 by 750 Retina HD display capable of producing 326 ppi. The features I just mentioned, along with Apple's A8 chip, a motion coprocessor, a 3-axis gyroscope, an accelerometer, as well as the best app ecosystem, makes for an absolute awesome gaming experience that only iOS devices can provide. While I performed several gaming tests specifically for this review, I would have to say that I seen no loss of frame rate and no fragmentation whatsoever when it came to gaming on the iPhone 6. Next is just how responsive the device is. Now the iPhone 6 is extremely responsive when it comes to opening and closing daily used apps, and even excels at downloading, and the keyboard input is extremely responsive. Now scrolling through heavily image-enriched websites is no problem, and pinch to zoom works exactly as expected. And loading up YouTube videos was absolutely no problem for the device. I'd have to say that overall I'm extremely pleased with the responsiveness in every aspect of it. Next is the video and image quality. Now the iPhone 6 has an 8-megapixel rear eyesight camera capable of capturing 1080p HD video at 30 or 60 frames per second, and can also capture slow motion at 120 or 240 frames per second, and has the ability to record time-lapse footage as well. The iPhone 6 has some of the best video and still image quality that I've seen on a smartphone to date. All of the colors are extremely accurate, nothing is oversaturated or washed out, and the onboard digital image stabilization works great as well. And lastly, as my final thoughts, while the iPhone 6 is undoubtedly a beautiful smartphone, it definitely has some flaws such as a protruding camera, and the antenna bands located on both the top and bottom section of the rear portion of the device are extremely controversial as well, but they are necessary as they do house the NFC module as well as the antenna bands. And lastly, Apple just might have made this device too thin. Now every year they choose to make their iPhone a little bit thinner, which I've never had a problem with till now. although it seems like Apple might have compromised the overall strength of the build of the device by making it so thin, and has actually birthed a brand new issue that is arising in both the news as well as here on YouTube called bendgate. The Apple iPhone 6 has an all-new 4.7-inch Retina HD screen and is beautiful and delivers excellent color accuracy and improved off-axis viewing. Apple has chosen to remove the chamfered edges and introduce edges that curve into the body of the smartphone itself, making the swiping gestures and the overall feel of the device in your hand more polished and natural. And I would have to say that I'm missing that here on the iPhone 6, as I did appreciate the nice chamfered edges on all the previous iPhones. However, all aspects of the hardware do feel upgraded, including the iSight camera, which now has focus pixels and delivers a much faster and sharper autofocus and works great. Apple's simplistic OS as well as their app ecosystem have always set Apple devices apart from others. Now when it comes to upgrade recommendations, I would have to say that if you have an iPhone 5 or older, the iPhone 6 is a solid upgrade. Now if you own an iPhone 5S, it's going to be a little bit tougher of a decision. However, there's a couple things that you should keep in mind. One is that the iPhone 6 has a bigger battery. Number 2, a slimmer form factor. Number 3, an upgraded camera. And number 4, NFC. Now, if any of those features are of significant importance to you, then I would definitely say to upgrade. Either way, I can confidently say that you're going to be more than happy if you purchase the iPhone 6. Now, both the iPhone 6 and the iPhone 6 Plus are the best iPhones made yet, and the iPhone 6 coming in at 4.7 inch on the screen size could be the perfect size screen for the iPhone. So to wrap things up, I'm giving the Apple iPhone 6 a 9 out of 10. And the reason that I'm giving this device a 9 and not a 10 is that I think Apple could have made the device a little bit thicker to help ensure that the build quality was strong enough. And although it is a rarity to ask for a thicker device, you can imagine Apple would have been able to put a bigger battery and also wouldn't have this protruding camera. Anyways guys, that's going to do it for me on this one. This has been the Apple iPhone 6 full review. Be sure to check out the description as I will have a ton of videos linked, all of which are going to be coverage of both the iPhone 6 and the iPhone 6 Plus. I'm also going to be giving away an Apple iPhone 6 Plus and an iPhone 6 here on the channel, so if you have not yet subscribed, now's a great time to do so. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to drop a thumbs up down below. As I mentioned earlier, my name is Aaron. I'd like to thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next one.